Police chief called this video the most disturbing thing he'd ever seen. And tonight, former Deputy Marshal Derek Stafford is paying for it. An audible gasp was heard in the courtroom as the judge handed down that 40-year prison sentence to Stafford for fatally shooting 6-year-old Jeremy Martis and wounding his unarmed father, Christopher Few.
I never saw a kid in the courtroom.
This body cam footage from the 2015 incident in Louisiana was the most damning evidence in the case against the 33-year-old, one of the 2 deputies accused in the shooting. The first grader, who had autism, was with his father when the SUV they were in was shot at 18 times by officers. It's still not clear why police were pursuing the car.
I don't know who I fired.
Defense attorneys argued Few drove recklessly while leading officers on a 2-mile chase and then rammed into a squad car. But there was no evidence of that. Stafford says he fired to protect his partner.
In other news, California's Attorney General is coming under fire for indicting 2 pro-life activists. It's for recording undercover videos in their efforts to prove that Planned Parenthood is engaged in illegally selling baby body parts. The criticism is coming from an unexpected source, the Los Angeles Times. The Times editorial board criticized AG Xavier Becerra for charging David Daleiden and Susan Merritt with 15 felonies. Becerra claimed the pair violated health care privacy laws when they made the videos.
A new study today says getting young children vaccinated against the flu could save their lives.
She was really having high fevers. Her hands and feet were cold.
Lisa Cargile's daughter Maya got the flu in 2011 when she was just 10. That year, no one in the family had gotten the flu shot. Maya's condition deteriorated and her organs began to shut down.
I remember just feeling awful, and that's kind of when my memory stops.
She was put in a medically induced coma for 3 days.
It could have been prevented. Like, we almost lost her over, not getting a shot.
Today's study found the majority of children who die from the flu are not vaccinated. Researchers studied nearly 300 pediatric flu deaths between 2010 and 2014. Overall, 3/4 had not been vaccinated. Half of the deaths occurred in children with chronic health conditions. In this more vulnerable population, only 31% had been vaccinated. Pediatrician Dr. Uzma Hassan is an infectious disease specialist at St. Barnabas Medical Center in New Jersey.
You cannot assume that a completely healthy child will fare well if they're unvaccinated and they wind up with a flu-like syndrome. They can get significant illness, they can get life-threatening illness.
Maya Cargile is 16 now, fully recovered and focused on her art.
I think people don't think it can happen to them, but when it's your child, it doesn't matter that, your child is the one.
On the 700 Club Asia program in Manila, Pastor Emil Ibanez painfully described the horrific condition of his son's body, who was victimized in an extrajudicial killing.
A wire was tied around his neck. Duct tape covered his face. His hands tied at his back, and there was a very big slash in his neck. It was so big. That was when I broke down. Why did they treat my son like an animal?
Pastor Ibanez admits his son AJ was a drug user, but says he quit drugs and became a police informant just weeks before his death. AJ is among 8,000 people who have died since Philippine President Duterte began his war on drugs 7 months ago. Most of the alleged drug users and pushers were denied due process. A creeping culture of impunity in the society has prompted the Catholic Church to issue a rare pastoral letter condemning the rising death toll. Catholic leaders call the government's drug war approach a reign of terror aimed largely at the